thatmovieguyUK.
America's Sweetheart and Academy Award nominee Jonah Hill, the actor that I never anticipated to ever become a director, has actually made a film, and it's been out for a very, very long time. And finally, in the United Kingdom, Mid90s is coming out this very Friday. I must say, my first impressions of Mid90s seemed very nostalgic, and I wasn't necessarily too sure what I'm going into, but he's pulled quite a few strings, and Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross are composing the music for it, and he's got a pretty good cast. I'm partial to a skateboard movie. I was one of these boarding kind of guys back in the day, but I was terrible and fat, so I just kind of watched my friends board, and I was like there on the sidelines, like admiring it all. I used to love boarding. Well, trying anyway. But regardless. Mid90s is the story of Stevie. He's 13 years old and living in Los Angeles. During a summer break, he is balancing his life between a very troubled home life with befriending new friends who are skateboarders and trying to find himself and develop within his adolescence. Jonah Hill's Mid90s is truthful, it's reflective, it's grounded, it's raw. It is a very delicate introduction into adolescence for us. And core elements of this film, especially between the friction of the family stead with Lucas Hedges and Kathleen Waterstone, I think that Stevie's life is very painful, and his urgence for release with the whole concept of skateboarding is a very liberating one, and I think that is something that we all accept when we're younger, is that be it football, be it painting, be it reading, be it anything outside of the family stead, that is your sense of release, that is your sense of freedom. And skateboarding became that for Stevie, and I really enjoyed the freedom that this film actually gave you. It just doesn't necessarily feel like this nostalgic wave that I was expecting. What is also great within the confines of the film is the depth of the relationships. Even though that we don't really get strong backstories for the characters, we really do get a lot of character arcs developing, and for a film that's only about an hour and 20 minutes long, Jonah Hill establishes a core relationship with everyone, and we understand the relationships and how they're developing, be it with his friends or the family, and it just continues to develop throughout. And there's no foregone conclusion to this film, but the unity at the end of the film is what drives you and what encourages you to embrace Mid90s tale. Jonah Hill actually shot this on 60mm film, and I think that's very admirable from him. It's in boxed Academy ratio, or 1:3:1, which I really did enjoy. I think he actually uses and utilizes a lot of the frame. And I did hear a story that when this got played at TIFF, people actually thought that this was like a home movie and it was all jumbled together to make a long film, which I think is what Hill was going for, and I'm sure it boosted his ego enough. But I think that giving it that 90s kind of feel, because a lot of boarding videos before were exactly like this, or like, well, How Many Currents, Trash Humpers, where everything is just cut up together and it's just like really fucking cool boarding music and stuff like that. And I just enjoy that element of it, and it really does dive you in, but the nostalgia doesn't really go fully blown sugarcoating of like, oh, you remember this, I remember this, I remember this. Like, I just enjoyed the level-headedness of the nostalgia. Sonny Suljic's performance in Mid90s is very thought-provoking, and I think that he embraced the character very well. And obviously, it helps that he's within this age range. It is very raw from him, and people keep going with saying it's a powerhouse performance, stuff like that. Yeah, it's a powerhouse performance, but it's very confined. He doesn't really reveal his true emotions to you until he's by himself, and the intimate moments when he is alone in his room is very hostile, and it's very egregious and painful to watch at times. Nicole Smith and Orlan Prenant, I think that as the two main leaders of the boarding group. I really did enjoy their performance. It felt like they were a part of Larry Clark's Kids, which has been a massive comparison for Mid90s. They are very balanced within this skateboarding world, and I really did enjoy their camaraderie and how one had a goal in life, one didn't really necessarily have a goal in life yet, and how basically they just bounced off each other. But their relationship with Stevie as well was just heartwarming at times, and a brotherhood like that, especially over summers. Summers are just such memorable times when you're growing up that you go back, you think this is when you had maybe your first kiss, maybe this is the first time you stayed away from home, this is the first time you like went to another city, or you went on a holiday that you will never forget. Summertime is like that period where we remember the most, but at the same time there are very raw and very tender moments. Mid90s isn't necessarily going to be for everyone, and that's understandable, but I would recommend this if you loved boarding back when you were a kid, or if you are very interested in a good adolescence coming of age film. Just like Mid90s is out now, 8th grade is going to be coming out when Avengers Endgame is out in the UK. Very two strong American adolescent films, and Jonah Hill, I do hope to see more of his work, and maybe going away from what he's attempted with Mid90s and creating another interesting drama would be very good for him. And like I said, it's out in UK cinemas this Friday, so please do check it out. If you guys want to contact me in any way or want to discuss anything, all my details are below here. Feel free to come and talk to me about anything, and I enjoy dislikes and stuff, it's fun. And obviously, as you see on this channel, diolch, danke, obrigado, merci beaucoup, arigato, dankeschön, bisschen, all the shins. And obviously, never change.